So here's everything you need to know about a deadlift. Before we even begin, the deadlift is easily the most complicated exercise period. Having good form means the difference between making gains and getting tons of strength, or having a literal aneurysm in your spine. So take your time learning the form and pay close attention. So there are two main types of deadlifts, sumo and conventional. In conventional, you take a shorter stance so your hands outside of your legs. In sumo, you take a wider stance so your hands inside of your legs. Generally, the conventional activates your spinal erectors more, meanwhile the sumo activates your quads more. When it comes to choosing a variation, usually conventional works for people who are taller and sumo works for people who are shorter, although you should experiment taking weeks per time to perfect the form and giving it a true shot. First, I'll be covering conventional, then I'll be covering sumo. So the conventional deadlift mainly works your glutes, hamstrings, quads, as well as your spinal erectors. Meanwhile, it'll also tax your forearms, traps, and lats. Pretty much everything except your pushing muscles and your biceps. So what you want to do is take a slightly closer or shoulder width stance and have the bar over the middle of your feet. You can either have your feet facing forward or slightly out. In order to get ready, do not bend over. Move your hips back. Do a hinge motion. Later in the video, if you can't do this, I'll show you how to. There are two main grips, mixed grip and double facing front grip. If you want to move the most weight, mixed grip is where it's at. However, double front facing grip is more safer. However, if you choose mixed grip, make sure to alternate your hands so strength and balances don't develop. If your grip struggles to handle your deadlift weight, make sure you try straps, although you should occasionally try without straps since your grip strength should be strong. Chalk can also help here as it prevent the bar from slipping out of your hands due to sweat. Hold the bar slightly towards you, however the bar patch should be straight. You can actually check this with an app, not sponsored. Do not let your lower back round, however some upper back rounding is fine. The bar should rub against your heels on the way up, by the way. On the way up, your hips should move forward, and by the time you lock out, your chest should also be facing forward. There are 3 ways to do a negative on a deadlift. 1, let it drop while you're still holding on to it. 2, slowly control a negative, about 1 to 2 seconds, or just drop it. The last one is mainly if you're going for a 1 rep max though. And on the way down, move your hips back while keeping your knees straight. Once your hip is sufficiently back, then you can bend your knees. And that's how you do conventional deadlift. Here's how you do sumo. As I mentioned earlier, you want to take a wider stance so your grip inside of your legs. You can slightly experiment exactly where you put your hands, however it should generally be shoulder width. When it comes to mixed grip, you'll pull more, and when it comes to double facing front grip, it's slightly safer. And as with the conventional deadlift, your bar patch should be straight. Again, there's an tip for it. As with the conventional deadlift, you want to grab onto the bar and push your legs into the ground and move the weight upward. Lead with your chest and drive your hips forward. Lockout should be where your chest is out, your hips are locked, as well as your knees. And as with the conventional deadlift, do not let your lower back round. As well as during a negative, move your hips back and keep your knees straight. Once the bar goes down past your knees, then you can bend your knees. So that's how you do both conventional and sumo deadlift. Here's how you fix certain errors. The number 1 most common error during a deadlift by far is letting your lower back round. There are many, and I mean many ways to fix this, and here are some. One of the main issues is simple fact you probably might be ego lifting, so lower back the weight. Another one being increase your hamstring and glute flexibility. Static stretching after your workout, foam rolling, or even doing RDLs. Another being increase your glute and hamstring strength with stuff like RDLs, hip thrust, or leg curls. Your lower back might round towards the top of the lift. In order to fix this, you might want to pause your deadlift at about 2 inches off the ground. During both the sumo and conventional deadlift, your fibula should be perpendicular with the floor. A common error is not letting this happen. A way to fix this being improve your hip mobility, as well as just simply improve your form. Another error being your hips shoot up too early. Some ways to fix this are 1, just simply improve your form, and 2, I cannot emphasize this enough, you have to hinge your hips, as well as improve flexibility. Another error being letting the bar drift forward. This is especially common during sumo. A way to fix this is 1, film your bar path from the side, and 2, follow the cue to quote-unquote shave your leg. The bar should be rubbing against your legs on the way up. And the last major error I'll cover on this is not engaging the lats. There are 2 ways to fix this. 1, by squeezing the bar, but not excessively. And 2, follow the cue to quote-unquote bend the bar. For rep ranges, a deadlift is a very strength-based movement, so 1 to 4 for strength, and about 6 to 10 for hypertrophy. You can go a little higher, however your cardio is more likely to give out than your muscles are. When it comes to frequency, do about 1 to 2 times per week. The deadlift is a very taxing and difficult exercise, so any more than this and you probably won't be able to recover. For programming, be sure to do the deadlift on a lower body / leg day, as it's not a back exercise. It's much more of a leg exercise. You can also do mobility drills in order to activate your muscles for the deadlift. For the glutes, you can do kettlebell swings or just hinging next to a wall. And then for hamstrings, you can do lighter RDLs, as well as dynamic stretches for the hip will help. If you're curious, the RDL and the stiff-legged deadlift will get their own video. If you struggle with the hip hinging motion, there are 3 main solutions to this. 1, increase your glute / hamstring flexibility, or 2, increase your glute / hamstring strength, or 3, just simply practicing the movement will also help. If you struggle with getting your deadlift off the floor, deficit deadlifts will help. Meanwhile, if you struggle with lockout, improving your glute and hamstring strength as well as chains could also help. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about the deadlift. See you next time, and bye.